ChatGPT said the storm had swallowed the night. Rain crashed against the empty streets like 1,000 broken hearts. Headlights cut through the darkness, and a man slammed his brakes when he saw someone, abandoned in the cold. A wheelchair stood crooked under a flickering streetlight, and a small girl soaked in the rain lifted her trembling face. In that single moment, his life split into two parts, before her, and after. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and miracles born from unexpected places, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support turns stories like this into real hope. His name was Ethan Miller, a 34-year-old single dad trying to raise his 7-year-old son, Liam, after a tragic car accident took his wife 3 years ago. Though he always smiled for Liam, his heart carried a weight only a widowed father could understand. Every day was a reminder of the love he lost and the promise he made to his son, that no matter what, he'd always choose kindness, because that's what his wife lived for. Earlier that week, everything had been different, almost absurd. Ethan had lost a silly bet with his co-workers at the auto shop where he worked as a mechanic. The result of the bet was that he had to accept a strange responsibility for 1 month, hosting a young woman named Harper, a girl who struggled with severe obesity and loneliness, introduced through a community assistance program. The idea was to help her gain confidence, routine, and direction, but of course his friends framed it as a joke, thinking it would be awkward and funny. They didn't know the pain she hid behind her gentle eyes. Ethan didn't laugh. He accepted the bet because deep down he wanted to help someone who had no one. That when Harper arrived with oversized clothes, avoiding eye contact, carrying the burden of a lifetime of mockery, Ethan immediately understood that this month wasn't a punishment, it was a chance. In the beginning, she barely spoke. She avoided mirrors, avoided food in front of others, and tried to disappear in silence. Liam, with the innocence only a child could have, was the first to treat her like someone special. He talked to her, smiled at her, asked her to help with puzzles, and offered her crayons without judgment. Slowly, Harper started helping around the house, cooking simple meals, and sitting at the dinner table instead of hiding in the guest room. For the first time in years, she felt like she belonged somewhere, but on the night Ethan pulled his car over, everything changed faster than anyone expected. When he rushed out under the rain and knelt beside the girl in the wheelchair, he saw bruises on her wrists and the kind of fear children aren't supposed to know. She was around 6 or 7, the same age as Liam. She couldn't speak from the cold, her lips trembling as her small fingers clung to his jacket like he was the only safe thing left. He lifted her into his arms without thinking, pushed the wheelchair into his trunk, and drove home with his heart pounding like thunder. When they got home, Harper saw the girl first and froze. Without hesitation, she wrapped her jacket around the child and wiped her tears gently. It was the first time Ethan saw Harper forget her insecurities and act with pure instinct and empathy. Liam watched, confused and scared, but brave enough to bring the little girl his favorite blanket. The house, once heavy with silence and grief, suddenly became filled with urgency and purpose. Ethan called emergency services, reporting what he found. The doctor who examined the girl later revealed a truth that stunned everyone: she had been abandoned by her own relatives, who believed her disability made her a burden. The rain hadn't put her on that street, cruelty did. Investigations began, but for days she stayed under Ethan's roof as authorities worked on emergency custody. They learned her name was Grace. She barely spoke, only whispering short words like "don't leave" or "sorry," as if she was apologizing for existing. Every morning, Harper helped feed her, brushing her hair, reading stories, and rolling her wheelchair to the living room window so she could watch the sun rise. Liam brought her toys, trying to make her laugh, though her smile was small and fragile. Ethan watched the transformation happening in front of him. A girl fighting the pain of her body started healing another girl fighting the pain of abandonment. Harper, who once hid herself, now stood in the light for someone who didn't even know how to ask for help. Ethan, who thought he was simply being kind, found that kindness multiplies when shared. The three of them built an unexpected family inside 4 small walls, but life rarely heals without breaking first. One evening, While Harper was helping Grace practice moving her hands again, Ethan overheard her whisper, "You're beautiful," with a trembling voice. Grace lifted her tiny fingers, touched Harper's face, and said, "You saved me." Those words shattered years of self-hate inside Harper. She broke down crying, holding Grace's hands like they were her lifeline. That night, Ethan sat alone on the porch, storm clouds rolling overhead again. He realized the girl he was supposed to help as a joke was now leading all of them towards something Ethan hadn't felt in years: hope. The truth stunned him once more. Saving Grace wasn't just about rescuing a child in a wheelchair. It was about saving Harper from her lifelong pain, saving Liam from growing up in silence, and saving himself from grief so heavy it had become his shadow. When the authorities returned to collect Grace for temporary custody, the house went quiet in a way that hurt. Grace cried, clinging to Harper, refusing to let go. The social worker promised she would be placed with a safe family, but promises don't soothe a breaking heart. Before she left, she whispered to Harper, "Please don't forget me." Harper kissed her forehead and gave her the bracelet Liam made, a string with 3 beads, a heart, a star, and the letter G.I. In the weeks that followed, everything changed again. Harper began taking walks each morning, eating healthier, not because someone demanded it, but because she believed she deserved to live. Liam kept asking when Grace would come home. Ethan started applying to become a foster parent, determined to bring Grace back where she belonged. The world was still imperfect, the pain still heavy, but they had learned something priceless: nobody heals alone. Imagine a man who thought he lost everything, who found a family not by blood, but by kindness. Imagine a girl abandoned in the rain, whose presence healed the broken pieces in strangers. Imagine a woman who spent her life hiding, who discovered her worth from a child who couldn't walk, but taught everyone how to stand again. That is how miracles look in real life: quiet, unnoticed, born out of storms. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that love is not defined by fate but by choice, then please like the video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more stories that remind us of humanity. Your engagement helps us continue creating emotional stories that matter. Before the ending, please comment something powerful. Tell us what kindness means to you, and if you believe that broken people can fix each other. Months later, the day finally came. Grace returned to Ethan's doorstep holding the bracelet with a new bead added, a little heart made of wood. She looked up with teary eyes, and without words, she smiled the strongest smile anyone had ever seen. Harper cried openly, Liam hugged her tightly, and Ethan placed his hand on the small wheelchair handle, realizing that sometimes the family you get isn't chosen by destiny, it's chosen by the moment you decide to be there for someone no one stands for.